The newest Grand Hero battle unit is Panne, and she is another free beast unit, which is pretty nice to see. She is a Cavalry Beast Unit, and this is a new addition to the game, along with the current Kitsune and Wolfskin banner. First things first, Panne's stats. At 5 stars, she has 41 HP, 29 attack, 34 speed, 30 defense, and 23 resistance. Usually the first thing you'll hear when people talk about Panne is her 29 attack, which is definitely a little bit below average. It's not amazing, but it's not that awful either, and I do think some people focus too hard on that flaw before taking a look at what else she can do. For example, for a cavalry unit, 41 HP and 34 speed are both pretty solid, 30 defense ain't bad at all, and 20 resistance will allow Panne to take some magical hits. For a melee physical damage dealer, Panne has good stats in the right places, with the exception of a slightly below average attack stat. Now, stats are going to be important when we discuss Panne, and that's mainly because of her unique weapon. Togwell Fang is a 14-might weapon, and it's actually effective against cavalry foes. As a cavalry unit herself, Panne has access to 3 movement, and she can dash around the battlefield to target enemy cavaliers during the player phase. Most cavs aren't super tanky, so Panne will dish out good damage to them. The second section of Togwell Fang states if Panne is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, or if she is not adjacent to any ally, Panne gets +3 to all stats during combat. Like I mentioned, stats are important to Panne, and Togwell Fang supplies a nice bonus if you meet certain conditions. You'll recognize that these are the same conditions for beast transformations, just that it takes into account when Panne is in battle and not at the start of the turn. The conditions for beast transformation are the third section of this weapon, and it's the same as all other beast units. Where things get a little interesting are the bonus effects for Cavalry Beast units when transformed. Panne will get +2 attack, and that's standard for all beast types. However, cavalry units have their own bonus. When initiating combat, inflict -4 attack and defense on the foe during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. This is incredibly strong. Even though it only works when initiating, cavalry units have 3 movement to make offensive attacks easier, and the debuff is unavoidable for the enemy. It should be obvious that Cavalry Beast units get an amazing advantage when making player phase moves, and I'll talk about what this actually means in a bit. Returning to Panne's base kit, you'll see that she comes with the Astra special. Astra is a 4-turn cooldown special that boosts Panne's base damage by 150%. While Panne gets a lot of extra stats, I wouldn't say it's the greatest special on her, although her Astra animation is amazing. Panne's B skill is Chill Speed 3, and this is very strong debuffing skill, applying a -7 speed debuff to the enemy with the highest speed stat. Chill skills are great support skills because they always work no matter what, and generally high speed units rely on that stat to function, so Chill Speed is a really crippling ability. It's a really nice fodder skill if you aren't using Panne. Another amazing fodder skill is Defense Smoke. This C skill is insanely rare. It debuted on Spring Alphons almost a whole year ago, and we have not seen it since. After a fight, Defense Smoke applies a -7 defense debuff to all enemies within 2 spaces of the target, but doesn't hit the target themselves. Smoke skills are really good on right builds, and they are good on player phase units because you attack, apply the debuff, and then on the enemy phase, your unit is fighting weakened enemies. Overall, Panne comes with 2 very strong, somewhat rare skills. If you aren't going to use her, she is valuable fodder material. Before we move on, I want to quickly discuss Panne's merging potential. If you aren't familiar, the first merge to a unit grants even more stats by getting rid of the Bane or Flaw stats. Neutral units don't have these, so they get bonus stats to different categories. Panne's first merge would normally get +1 HP and +1 speed. However, with the bonus from a neutral nature, she gets an additional +1 HP, speed, and defense. Sometimes this boost may not affect the unit greatly, but for Panne, she gets 2 additional speed just with 1 merge, bumping her up to 36 speed. I'm not saying it's necessary to merge Panne up, but this is a very nice bonus for those of you who do want to use her often. Now I want to talk a little bit about my experience using Panne. I did 5-star her, and I test run her through some basic level 10 training tower maps, forging bonds, and of course a whole bunch of arena assault runs. Nothing crazy or super intense, but I did want to see what she offered, especially since I know a lot of people will compare her to Nate Sala. Personally, I think Panne performed better than what I expected. However, this is with the crutch of being on a full Beast and Dragon team. Running Beast units on a team with non-Beast Dragon allies makes things a bit more complicated because you have to worry about positioning to not revert them back to human form. Maps with little moving room also makes this harder, so running a Beast and Dragon team is worth it to get the full Beast unit experience. If you run Panne in a full Beast or Dragon team, she will always reap the benefits of Togwell Fang, meaning she essentially gets a permanent +3 to all stats at all times. Her stat line looks a lot better with this in mind. With her weapon, she'll have 48 attack, 37 speed, 33 defense, and 26 resistance. To me, Panne felt competitive on a beast team, and she does her job as a blue unit well. She wins matchups against red units, and I didn't feel like her low base attack affected her too much. One reason for this might have been because of the Cavalry Beast transformation bonus. To me, it's a very noticeable effect, and it really helps Panne out in the damage department. It's one of those things that I think people will overlook when they see Panne. I definitely think this transformation bonus is a huge boon for this class type. I like to think of the Cavalry Beast bonus as a mini Sturdy Impact effect. Sturdy Impact grants +6 attack, which is similar to the enemy losing 4 defense. It also grants +10 defense, and that's comparable to them losing attack, with the bonus of working on magic damage too. Lastly, they both cancel follow-up attacks, and this is a really strong ability in my opinion. As I mentioned earlier, I think Cavalry Beasts are naturally made for attacking. 3 movement is very strong, and canceling follow-up attacks on initiations really messes with the ever-popular Quick Riposte type builds. Quick Riposte is probably the most basic enemy phase skill to work around, dating back to good old Hector, and many builds rely on enemy phase follow-up effects. Panne, Selkie, and Kaden completely messed this up, and by surviving once deadly engagements, they open up opportunities for hard to predict maneuvers. This includes all the annoying things like Dancers, Wings of Mercy, Chains of Reposition, Hit and Run, etc. If you face transformed Cavalry Beast units, you have to watch out who you send to tank their attacks. With all this in mind, let's compare Panne with Naesala, who is another free blue beast unit. Naesala is a flying beast unit with a ton of speed and a base kit to improve that speed stat even further. Raven King Beak also gives Naesala more damage potential, and it would definitely seem like Naesala is the stronger offensive unit. He even gets 3 movement when transformed. I won't deny that Naesala is pretty darn good, and I enjoy using him. When using Panne, I did feel like she was weaker than Naesala in terms of damage output. However, she brings a different type of utility than just pure damage. The Cavalry Beast transformation bonus is neat when tackling very strong enemy phase foes. Even though it is better to just straight up KO foes in one round, being able to weaken enemies without Panne dying can also be useful too. For that reason, most of the builds I'll be talking about will revolve around a team playstyle. If you want just pure damage, I don't think Panne can top Naesala. However, if you want something a bit different, Panne can offer some neat setups. For our first build, this is probably the simplest one that A, helps Panne deal more damage, and B, survive more encounters. I think Sturdy Blow 2 is a good and not super expensive A skill for Panne. It grants +4 attack and defense when initiating, and this stacks with Panne's ability to debuff when transformed. With our new Darting Blow Sacred Seal, we can give Panne that extra speed she needs to double enemies to take them out in 2 hits. I tried this setup out when testing, and it felt pretty good for most basic fights. As a blue unit, Panne deals with most red threats, and of course messes up any Cavaliers too. If you aren't trying to be complex, then keeping chill speed and defense smoke is fine. I would swap Astra out for Moonbow, which will proc if Panne does double. With a slight variation, you can use Life and Death for Panne's A skill. Remember that Togwell Fang adds +3 to all stats, so that helps offset the defense and res penalty, and Panne gets a good chunk of attack and speed in exchange. With a focus on initiating fights, Panne can apply defense smoke and another smoke seal if you're choosing. If you want to focus on debuffing, Panne needs allies that can either follow up on her initial attack, or allies that can rescue her while tanking on the enemy phase. For example, a tank with Pivot or Reposition can protect Panne and then fight off the weakened enemy team. The most important thing to this build is to have Panne attacking when transformed. Panne may not be the greatest killer out there, but she can at least hold her own ground until her teammates get there to back her up. If you really want to call in the cavalry, give Panne Fury 3. This will be the best option for getting really aggressive because we want Panne to drop into Wings of Mercy's HP range, which is less than 50% HP. She can attack into really scary defenders, but as long as she doesn't get one shot, Panne should survive. This then opens the way for allies to swarm in to finish off Panne's targets or even take out more enemies. With Desperation equipped, a Wings of Mercy Dancer can get Panne a kill on a squishier target. Defense Smoke and Savage Blow will weaken multiple enemies assuming they are grouped up. This makes it easier to clean them out by a danced Panne or other Wings of Mercy units. This may sound like a very reckless playstyle, and it is. Normally, you shouldn't leave units in vulnerable positions even if it gets you a kill. However, the rules are different for the AI. For modes like Arena or 8th Raids, Panne can truly shine on a defense team. The AI will attack pretty much whatever is within range, even if it gets the unit killed. That's why enemy phase quick riposte units are so good. However, when you can't take out a unit in one round, you risk all kinds of unpredictable moves. One such move is Lunge, which is so dirty. Lunge will swap Panne with her enemy, and that brings them closer to the rest of your team. It also puts Panne deeper into enemy lines, which allows for super aggressive Wings of Mercy dives onto key targets. Panne can be a great asset for a defense team just by surviving when she dives into attack. If you don't take her out first, she can punish you hard if you don't have the right units. I'll show you an example of how Lunge and Wings of Mercy work in tandem. So should you promote Panne to 5 stars? To recap, she has decent speed and defensive stats with slightly below average attack. However, she can make up some of this with her weapon that can give +3 to all stats. It's also effective against cavalry units, which is okay for most content. Panne comes with chill speed and different smoke, which are both very good and rare skills. If you don't use Panne for battle, she is valuable for skill inheriting. Bottom line is, if you do use Panne, she has survivability when attacking, and that can be useful with the right team support. Our other free beast unit, Sala, is very strong and is also primarily an offensive unit. I don't think Panne will outdamage him, but she isn't a bad fighter herself. She is very serviceable in terms of a blue unit, and she can take some hits too. While I did not specifically focus on it, you can build Panne more defensively if you want. However, if you use her, I suggest focusing on taking advantage of her beast form to set up plays for her allies. If you like beast units as a whole and just want more of them, then I definitely think she is worth using, especially if you didn't get Kaden or Soki. In my opinion, beast units are a lot of fun to use when you have a full team or a mixed team with dragons. Having another option for team building is nice, and Panne is pretty good. If you haven't experienced sturdy impact, maybe give Panne a try just for that. She is clearly weaker when not initiating, but boy does she feel powerful when she is. Panne may not be a super hard carry threat, but she offers a different angle for player phase units, and that's nice to see. I don't expect everyone to use her, but I think the Cavalry Beast units will be super annoying to face if you primarily run enemy phase units. That's all I have to say about Panne. I think she is fun to use, although getting used to the fact that she can't cross forest tiles is still something I forget. At the moment, I don't think she'll be a super popular unit you'll see everywhere. However, I really do think she is a strong attacker when used by the AI. You can't just place a quick riposte tank in front of her, and if you do, make sure the enemy isn't running Wings of Mercy on their other units. Maybe some people will come around to using Panne, but for the moment, I think she'll be sidelined for Sala or one of the other beast units. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think about Panne in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.
The Togwell do not play.